You all understand this fight requires all hands on deck. It requires community. It requires labor leaders. It requires my two kids sitting right there. And it requires faith-based leaders. And I truly believe that. Doesn't matter what your religion is, doesn't matter what your skin color is, doesn't matter where you're from. If you are a human being, you belong in this movement. So, without further ado, I'd like to bring up Pastor Jason Bolgen with Capital City SDA.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, make some noise in here. I want to thank Volma and the Sacramento Labor Council. Can you put our hands together for them? Awesome job. As you said, my name is Dr. Jason Bolgen, and I have the awesome privilege to serve as the lead pastor of the Capital City Seventh-day Adventist Church here in Sacramento, California. And I actually came to the U.S. from Canada as a student and stayed because of the opportunities. I've lived in Ohio, I've lived in Washington State, I've lived in Alabama, and now I live in sunny California. But when I first came to Capital City Church, I was hit by the massive motto of our church. It was taking Sacramento for the King. Now, I was inspired by it, to be honest, and I wasn't entirely sure what it meant or how to encapsulate that. And I knew we weren't recruiting for the Sacramento Kings who played down the street. I knew we definitely weren't recruiting for number 45. But over time, I began to realize that taking the city for the King wasn't about utter domination. It wasn't even about denomination or faith tradition. It was about demonstration. Somebody shout demonstration. It's about faith becoming action. It's about love becoming an action word. It's about putting on shoes and walking into a hurting world. Taking Sacramento for the King is about building deep connections, listening to our brothers and our sisters, and showing up for them in the everyday struggles in this city. As a pastor, most of the calls I get are not for Bible study. They're for people who are hurting. They're for people who are in crisis, people who need resources, people who need help, people who are crying out, who are hurting, and who are scared. And if I give them a Bible, know where I'll end up? In the trash. Because it's not meaningful. To take Sacramento for the King means we walk where Jesus would walk. And I believe my Jesus would be here. I believe the Jesus I serve would be on these steps, would be standing with brothers and sisters who all bleed red, and getting into good trouble when we run out of cheeks to turn. And that is the spirit of John Lewis. John Lewis didn't wait for a microphone. He made history with his feet. He believed that justice wasn't a side dish to faith. It was faith in action. He lived boldly and persistently all the way to the end. He didn't wait for approval to act. He followed his conviction. And my Jesus did the same thing. He followed his conviction. He stood with the outcast. He called out corruption and he welcomed the forgotten. And that's good trouble. For too long, the faith community has confused comfort with calling. We've turned the sanctuary into a safe space instead of launching a launching pad for engagement. We've acted like God is only present behind stained glass windows. But that isn't true. Jesus did some of his best ministry in the streets. Stories we hear about Jesus is when he's in the storm, in the middle of the storms, in the middle of the struggle, with real life people and real life problems. So taking Sacramento for the King means we don't just preach sermons, we live them out. In city council, we live them out in public meetings, we live them out in our schools, we live them out in our prison, we live them out in our parks. We live it out. It's not regulated to Sunday mornings or Saturday mornings in our churches, in the pews. It means our presence is felt on Monday afternoons, at community forums, on Wednesday evenings in the shelter, and on Thursday nights at the Capitol. The early church that I study and that I read about wasn't known for how comfortable they were. They were known for how committed they were to one another, the gospel, and to justice. And that's why we have to get back to some good old trouble. So what does good trouble look like? Good trouble is defending immigrants and the undocumented. Good trouble is protecting human rights of our brothers and sisters. Good trouble is advocating for police accountability, affordable housing, and equal access to education. Good trouble is saying, not on our watch. Good trouble just means that we love out loud. We stand firm in what we believe, and we walk humbly, but never silently. We don't wait for change, we become it. We don't just wait for the kingdom to come, we usher it in. If injustice is running free in our streets, you know what we do? We get in the way. If our children are being pushed out of schools and pulled into systems, what do? We get in the way. If poverty is accepted and greed goes unchecked, we get in the way. If the church is silent when it should be speaking, we get in the way. If politicians are silent or looking the other way, we get in the way. If dignity is denied, we get in the way. If rights are violated, we get in the way. If truth is buried beneath politics and power, we get in the way. We get in the way for our kids. We get in the way for the poor. We get in the way for the broken. We get in the way for the voiceless. We get in the way for the weary. We get in the way for the truth. We get in the way. So that's why we're here, to stand up and speak out. To stand up and speak out. And what I need each of you to do is find somebody and lock arms. Lock arms with somebody close to you. Lock arms. This is what community looks like. You may not know the name of the person next to you. You may not have traveled down here with them, but community looks like this. Locking arms and standing together. Different stories, different backgrounds, different everything, but same mission. We have the same mission, to speak to the injustice, to speak to the inequality, and to stand up and have our voice heard. So friends, today, this is how we're going to continue the legacy of John Lewis. This is how we're going to get into some good trouble. Let's get into good trouble, and what we're going to do is get in the way. Thank you.
All right, beautiful people. Or should I say, troublemakers. My name is Carlos Padilla. I work for SEIU 10 to 1. But today, I'm here really as a community organizer, somebody that's been involved many years in our community. And I'd like to say that we're here once again to be able to vote somebody out, right? But that's not what we're here. That's not the only thing that is in our way. For many years, the billionaires have taken control of our elections. For many years, these billionaires have invested inside politicians so that they don't get in the way. Now, the Supreme Court, are they on our side? Is Donald Trump on our side? So if we have billionaires controlling our elections and influencing our elections, then our only way out is each other. Our only way out is good trouble. Now, things may seem bleak. I know I started my day today with a phone call real early in the morning. I live in South Sac, telling me to drive 5 minutes down the road because people were getting taken. 10 people in my community got taken from the Home Depot that I go to. People that I speak to. And it's a hard thing to know that any of us can be taken at any moment. Even the volunteer there documenting got arrested. And so this is only gonna escalate. And we are living in some dark times. And we are gonna have to rely on each other, because it starts with immigrants, then it goes after dissidents, then they go after unions, and by the time that you look around, you might be by yourself. We may all be in cages. And so what I'm telling you today is we have to remember, we know how to fight back. We know because we fought back during the Civil Rights era. The Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee went with some good trouble to earn the right to vote, right? And throughout the years, they dismantled that. But there are soldiers here. In fact, I don't see him right here, but Daniel de los Reyes, the elder here. In fact, he went at 18. He went and participated with the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, risked his life to be out there and get into some good trouble. We know good trouble because it was good trouble when they were trying to tell us that we couldn't speak Spanish. And our community had to walk out and we're faced with police repression. But we still did it. Good trouble is knowing that society is the major society, the United States government, let's be direct, may try to stop you. But we're not gonna let that stop us. We're gonna keep getting in the fucking way. We know good trouble because we know good trouble when we strike against our employer, right? Many of you have participated on strikes. That is good trouble. Now, here's the thing. We have a choice to make down this road. Now, we could wait and see what happens in 26. We could wait and see what happens in 28. But my community cannot wait. My community cannot wait as we're being disappeared, as we're being put in these fucking camps. So I have an ask for you today. Will you get in good trouble with us? So there are QR codes along the side of those tents. There's QR codes at the tables. There's QR codes on signs. I want you to make sure you take out your phone today and you go and activate that QR code and find a way to participate. Because we can't just leave it at the rally. We can't just leave it at the voting booth. We have to be able to increase our ability to cause good trouble. Because now that they face that fight in LA, where do you think they're coming to next? So are we gonna be ready? Are we gonna cause good trouble? are we gonna get in the motherfucking way? All right. So with that, go fight and fucking win.
Give it up for Carlos, one of the baddest organizers I know. Scan the QR code, guys, because we need to get into a fight. Well, we don't need to get into a fight because we are in a fight, okay? And the truth of the matter is, you can look around you, we are losing the fight because every day something different. Every day something new. They're kidnapping our people. We don't know where they're taking them. And then every day people like Carlos have to like rush in the morning to try to figure out what the F is going on. I don't want to curse because my pastor's right there, so. But we're getting ready to wrap this thing up here, right? We're getting ready to wrap this rally up. What I want you to understand though, this rally, as great as it is, and I saw a couple of you locking arms, as beautiful as that is, it's all performative. As beautiful as you all are standing here, part of it is all performative because when you go home, you gotta get dinner. Some of you have to have kids. This little Fox, those who watches it, we all are gonna do something that has nothing to do with good trouble. What I want you to understand though, if you go home and you go to sleep and wake up the next morning not finding trouble, all of this is for naught. And I don't want it to be for that. So scan those QR codes, please. And we invite you all to get into some good trouble. We invite you all to think about what is it that we need to do as a people to make sure corporate America stops, to make sure the government stops. There's only one way we can do all of that, people. There's only one way we can do all of that. And I need you all to start thinking with your dollars. I need you all to start thinking with your money. I need you all to start voting with your money. Because if you don't, they are going to break our backs. And they've been doing it. They have spent billions and billions and billions of dollars on ICE. The most amount of money we have seen spent on a federal government agency in years. And I'm talking about the sum of money that is larger than the third largest military. Can you understand that? Can you understand that? And why are they doing it? They're doing it to terrorize us. If you ask me who the terrorists are, well, they're living in the White House. If you ask me who the criminals are, they're living in the White House. If you are asking me, do I know how to fight? Well, hell yeah. I know how to get into a fight, and you know how to get into a fight, and it's time we get into a fight because this fight is going to be brutal, and we're going to lose some. But at the end of the day, when people like you and myself stand together, there is no choice other than to win. So I'm looking forward to standing with you. I'm looking forward to fighting alongside you. And I'm looking forward to winning with you. Thank you all and have an amazing night. I love y'all.